Okay, here we go. Wait, where's my nice music gone? Hold on. Oh, you're gonna see that. Oh, that's not nice. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. There was like this really nice kind of chill music going on. Okay. Ooh, alright, and relax. My font big enough? I don't think so. That's pretty big. How are you doing, everyone? I've had a heck of a week. Oh boy. Um, and my trauma is being triggered by almost everything I look at right now. So, but we'll run with it and we'll relax. Is my voice too loud, Viren? Like, I messed around with the audio, and the audio was, I don't know, man, Pulse Audio just lies to me sometimes about how loud things are. And I can turn myself down. Excellent. Then just relax. Just feel your voice. My voice to your voice. All right, great. Well then, what should we do? Well, to be honest, this is kind of the meta streaming thing in that I've been desperately trying to get this laptop that I use for streaming up and working, but I keep on burying myself in more and more weirdness. This is Emacs, which I decided to switch to, and I would say I probably picked the wrong week to switch to Emacs. And let's see. I have a bunch of things to do. I have been building this laptop using a thing called Guix. That's how it's pronounced, not necessarily how it's spelled. And Guix is... Where did I put my browser? An operating system which is sort of strange in the sense that it doesn't really even look like Linux if you look at the filing system. Like, let me just pull out, and if I do an ls on the top root directory, there's no user, and the bin is like got one thing in it, which is shell, and that points into this directory here, which is GNU store, and that has all this weirdness in. You know what it's most like? Sesquilinear? It's most like Nixos, I believe. Guix is based on Nix, and unlike Nix, I assume that there's not some weird pronunciation of Nix like Nix. But Nix has a language underlying it all, which is sort of a made-up language. I mean, I guess all languages are made up, but this one is particularly made up. And Guix uses a version of Lisp called Guile. And the thing that's sort of super special about these things is that, hey, Winsark, if you're a real person, say hello if you're a real person. Or, you know, say hello if you're not a real person. Both of those things work. Is each of these, let me try and pick something. Let me look at, like, so I'm using Kitty now. This is my favorite terminal. And here's a directory. So if you look, there's all these directories, and this is sort of kind of like a hash. Is a hash, I think. Inside here, there's a bin, which has the executable, and then it has all the libraries here you might want, and shared stuff is here, and this is all very self-contained, as you might see. And it's even weirder if you actually look at the binary, because if you do this command ldd, which, if you don't know it, sort of lists where the application is going to look for the rest of its code. It's dynamic libraries. It's libraries that it's of code that it's using. You'll see that these point all over the place, right? These point to all of these different stores. And the idea is that all of this is self-contained and deterministic. So if I want to add a new package, I can say, what do I want to add? Say I wanted to add Ruby. Well, let's see, Ruby something. Oh no, I've made it pause. Yeah, Ruby, right? Then that will install itself in a self-contained place. And then if I want to uninstall Ruby, rather than like deleting files all over the place, it just changes a bunch of symlinks to just makes those symlinks go away, right? So all the things that I currently have in my bin are all symlinked to these separate packages, and they all point to their dependencies and no others. So everything's self-contained, all the dependencies are self-contained. It's all very neat. And I think I can probably show you, if I can remember, what is it? Capital I? Yeah, so these are all the packages I have installed, but I also... Is that a bagpipe? No, okay. I'm gonna try and turn this off in my ear, because... Oh, it's like a honky-tonk bagpipe. That's lovely. Let me see. This is like going off right in my ear. Will this do it? Oh god, that's so much better for me. I have that blaring into my ear and to the stream. Yeah, it is super neat, and I'm sort of playing around with it. The way that they managed to kind of pull it off is by all the software is compiled, which means you kind of need the source for it. And they're sort of aspiring to make everything free software. And the downside of that is you have to kind of buy into the whole thing. Like if something's not a installed package, a package that's made available, then you'll... So far, I've been mostly kind of out of luck. Like for instance, I mean, I'm getting there. I sort of understand how to do this, but it sort of encourages you... Hello, Commander Root. It encourages you to do it the right way. And I like that discipline, but, you know, in some places it's kind of frustrating. Like, for instance, the only web browser is IceCat. And if you've never heard of IceCat, then it's kind of the official fork of Firefox to make it even more pure and free. It's not very good. It's kind of buggy. So I'm actually running real Firefox, but I've been running real Firefox by running it in a Docker installation. So you run this command and it downloads and runs a version of Firefox in Docker that talks to the screen. I'm actually using Wayland and Sway here. I think Firefox is actually running as an X Windows thing. Let me have a look. Yeah, look, there it is. These are all the things that are still using X, even though I'm using Wayland. They use a little built-in X server in Wayland. Wayland is the new hotness. It's the sequel to X Windows, and X Windows is Unix's, yeah, most Unix's ways of doing Windows. If you didn't know that, now you do. That's pretty cool in itself, right? Running a graphics application in in a Docker shell. And if you haven't seen it before, and I'd be really impressed. Hey TS Just, I'd be really impressed if you found it before, because it took me ages to find it. This is what you want to be using. I'll put it in the chat so you can click on it. There we go. Right, so this lets you run like all kinds of applications in a Docker installation. I think it even works on Windows. And most impressively, it's like one shell script, and it even worked on my crazy messed up Guix installation, which tell me not everything does. Here we go. Let me give you some. Like you can like carve out so you can print from your Docker program. You can use Pulse Audio, which I actually am. And what I'm looking for. Oh shit, you can do it on Windows. And I'm looking for, look at all these programs that you could just run. Oh my god. Kodi, Telegram, Tor browser, Chromium. And I mean, there's some security advantages to running something in Docker. I mean, not as much as like I think people wish there was. I think if Docker had been built with security stuff in mind, it wouldn't have gone so far so quickly. Certainly, I have this feeling, and if you're, if you work for Docker, you can come and tell me I'm wrong, but Docker is definitely one of those, like, we're gonna do everything simultaneously, and if we break things, it won't matter. And I don't think security was like a super high priority for them, or secure isolation. So, oh well, never mind. At least you get some kind of benefit from running these things in small places. Probably the same reason why I'm kind of tempted by Guix is that it's all deterministic, which is to say, when you reproducible as well. Like when you run it, it doesn't just like take off where it was. Well, when you compile it, it stays compiled. It like compiles. You take the source code, you compile it, and if you went back tomorrow and you compiled the same source code, then it would be the same. It would be the same binary that you would get. That is actually amazingly hard to do, and that's bad because it's really important that we have some way. So for those of you who don't know, I work for the Electronic Frontier Foundation, and we worry a lot about the security and the health of the internet. And one of the things that we really care about is that if somebody says, hey, this code is the code behind the application and the program that you're using, and here's the binary, because you don't want to mess around compiling the code, do you? You want a cool binary. Then you have some way, or somebody has some way of going, yep, this binary is just this code, and it doesn't have anything like secret, like a backdoor put into it. And in theory, that should be easy, and that's one of the promises of like open source software. But in fact, it's really hard. And like, to give you an example, if a compiled program has like the date that it was compiled in, like I'm not sure if Firefox does this, but if we have a look at maybe there's like an about page about Firefox. Right, so this doesn't, so that's good. But like some have like, oh yeah, and this was built on this day. Well, if you build it again tomorrow, then that date's going to be different, which means that the binary is going to be different, which means if you do a hash, which is like this sort of fingerprint of the whole thing, Yes, that is exactly right. So it's really, yeah, like everything, all of those things in these builds is set to like a fixed value. And that means that when I compile something, it will end up in the, the same directory, because these directories have the final hash of whatever they ended up creating at the front of them. And if I don't, it'll end up in a different place. So you know what's in that directory. And you can go, yeah. And also that means you can download the binaries with confidence. And there's a way, it sort of automatically downloads the binaries. And if they're not there, it compiles them. And, in theory, in like the hippie, decentralized peer-to-peer internet that we dream of, and we almost had, and then we lost, I'd be able to say, hey, I was the first person to compile this, but now it's done. And anybody who wants this particular compilation can download it from me. So that's the theory. Oops. Oh no, you can see my thing at the bottom. Here we go. I've also been messing around with Sway, which is my windowing system here. And Sway is, I really feel, is part of like a new generation of free and open software. It's done by a guy who's just a torrent of code right now. Hello, Lux. Sorry if I just completely unlooked you by calling you Lux, but hey. This is done by Drew DeVault, who's been pretty much actually not on his own. He works with other people, which is even better. The basic stuff to get Wayland running outside the GNOME and KDE, sort of Red Hat and ecosystem, which is great because I think it means that, people are working on this stuff who aren't necessarily getting their salary from it. And I think that just makes it a little bit more likely to be what that community wants rather than having kind of financial or market considerations. I don't know, maybe. It's not been it's all an ongoing experiment, as I try to explain to people, especially people who get very like, no, this is absolutely the right way to do things. I don't know, it might be. We'll find out. We have to build things and experiment to find out. All this stuff, man, this person's build. He's like, built Sway, and he also, with the cooperation of lots of other people, built the libraries that you would need if you wanted to build another window manager under Wayland. And he also that's him. Second one. He also did this thing called Source Hut, which is like a GitHub if you hate JavaScript. I wonder if I have I should log into this. But it, again, it's sort of, if you hunker for using email to communicate and Git to cooperate with your with your colleagues and building software collectively, and you like, simple, composable, not very flashy websites and software, I think it's a good place to go to. And he's now doing that full time. I think he's got enough people dedicated to his Patreon or to do it, which is good. I mean, I do wonder sometimes whether having that kind of role ultimately is very stressful and hard on someone. And I wish there was more ways to support people, not financially, just, you know, as people. I've watched a lot of people sort of go off to a strange life because of that. But and I want to keep sort of my eye on how happy he is and how he's doing things and where he ends up. But look at all these people helping him. That's awesome. Okay, well, I should actually do something. So let me go back to all of this. I actually, for my sins, I'm afraid I'm not going to be doing like a huge demo of some amazing piece of code. I'm actually just building out my Twitch setup. So what do we have? And learning as I go. I was a big Vim user to do my for all of my organizing and stuff. I used to use Vim. I used to live in Vim, and like recently I've been playing around with Emacs, and it's fun, but I look like an idiot. I don't know anything. And I used to look so smooth I actually learned VI to impress my then girlfriend, or actually to sort of win her over. She was amazing at VI, and she had like this sun station at her house that she got from somewhere, and I was like, okay, I really have to up my game I'm sort of faking it so much. And so I learned VI, I learned all the moves and stuff, so I could, like, when she looked over and I was working on something, I would be going, oh yeah, I do it too. I'm just like you. Not quite as cool. Anyway, so I got very good at it. I could, you know, do it two-handed, like chubby checker or something. And now I'm trying, at the age of 50, because that's how old I am, I'm trying to like learn Emacs. Okay, so the main thing I was going to play around with, like the thing that I want to do in this setup is try and do as much as I can in Lisp. The whole setup that we have here has a Lisp at its core, partly because I would say it's attempting to rebuild the dream, which was Lisp machines. Yeah, look. Oh shit, what's that? Oh, look at that. Oh, that's a glitch. I wonder if that's from running it in a Docker. Maybe it's the Lisp machine trying to get through into the future, begging to be born. So I had some notes on this. Oops, I see, this is what I mean. How do I... Oh, no, stop. There we go. Yeah, no, do. Why is it telling me there's a link? Is that just because I'm mousing over it? Okay. No. What? No. Okay. No, stop. What? No. Ah. I don't want to open the quick help. See, in Vim, I probably spent the first 2 years trying to quit, and now I'm going to spend the first 2 years of me using Emacs trying to get out of, or Space Max actually is what I'm using, trying to get out of the out of these little windows. Huh. Well, there it goes. All right. think there's some humor value in watching somebody flail around like this. Okay, so I feel like there is some key that is being registered. Yeah, a bit boredom. A bit it with it was this idea about, well, okay, what it would be like. What I was getting into Lisp, and I was going, okay, what would it be like to have everything in my life run on Lisp? Because Lisp is definitely one of those like homogenizing swarms that make you go, hey, I could build everything out of parentheses, and oh my god, like it all makes sense now. You know, I want to indulge myself a little bit in that. Is this the file that I wanted to? No, this is just the story of what I'm doing. Notes. Here we go. Here we go. Blah, blah, blah. We talked a bit about this. This is like the Lisp definition that creates... I told you this. That creates this whole computer. It basically describes all the packages that I want, and if I ran that again, I would recreate this computer. I mean, not the hardware, though that would be nice too. I could like 3D print it. And I thought I'd said some more on this, but let me just explore. So with a system like this, the temptation is to do Lisp all the time. Build the system using Lisp. Package up individual application in Lisp. And even write shell utilities and applications in Lisp. Why not? That'd be an interesting voyage. I really... Did I mention Haskell previously? No. Okay. And after the productive voyages in Haskell and Clojure. Did I really mess around with Clojure? Haskell Elm. I definitely spent a lot of time in Elm and maybe a little bit of Idris. I like the idea of going back. Oh, you know what was also an inspiration? Plan 9. Going back to this original, very simple vision of what a personal computer could be that provided autonomy to its user could be like. All right, that's a pretty good description. So some of that is about finding out what applications, what packages I need. Some of it is packaging software in the Guix distribution. Some of it's packaging software that I need that doesn't yet exist in the Guix distribution. And it's really easy to contribute new packages. I mean, it's not easy to get them to work, and I still have them exploring that whole thing, but it's once you've done, you can just submit a patch, and I've already submitted a couple of patches, which is something that I very rarely have done with open source and free software up until now. So that's been giving me a really good feeling as a deeply, deeply amateur programmer. Some of it is building new mini applications and extracting old code as I go along. I've done some work hacking the code I need for streaming already. For instance, watcher, you may notice that I have these slightly shitty information graphics things. Am I pointing the right way? Probably not. Over there that probably say completely the wrong thing. I haven't checked on them recently. But I only just managed to get that working. Oh, and the chat too. And they're using a thing called OBS Linux browser, and this was, in the sweetest possible way, an absolute fucker to get working, because it had a binary, and I had to wrangle the binary. Let me just give you some behind the scenes looking at this. So I think it's in the build directory, and this is not reproducible. I cannot even remember how I managed to do this. But if we do an LDD on this, oh right, so most of these, it's I don't know where anything is. You don't actually have any user lib or any of that stuff, so I don't know where shit is in your crazy Lisp machine. And so I had to use a program called PatchElf. Let me stick that in the chat too, so you can also feel my pain. And I'll try and put this up on some notes about this rather educational stream. I wasn't thinking it was going to be like this, but I guess I like talking about this stuff. So PatchElf is a thing that the Nix people came up with. And there's a bunch of stuff in binaries that I didn't really know was there. And one of them is, I'm not going to patch this. Oh shit, I did. Well, I hope it didn't do anything. I hope that isn't the copy that I'm actually depending on. So I thought it was going to show me stuff about that, but maybe there's something else that I should type. You can actually hack these binaries to point to the things that you want them to. If you've ever done as a punk programmer and you've done, I think it's LD library, is it? People can heckle if it's not. You can do this weird thing with Linux binaries of interposing your own library into what they would normally link to, and it lets you do a bunch of really nice things kind of dependency inject or something like that, or surround an application with your own code. I think that there's a program TorSox that I think uses it. I don't know whether it does, and I'm interested to find out. So let's have a look. So yeah, LD preload. That's what I was thinking of. And what TorSox does is it wraps a program so that program will, instead of connecting to the internet directly, always go through Tor to anonymize what you're doing. And so you can use that with all kinds of stuff, even SSHing. You can SSH over Tor. So that's kind of useful. What I didn't realize is that's sort of done live. That's done at the moment that you load a program. But a program actually, let's think of, probably that browser program has something. So if you see here, every binary program actually has like this thing called the interpreter, which actually links it. So this is the linking program. So when you think you're loading a binary, I kind of always assumed it just like hitches in the code and then fiddles with it a little bit so everything is going to work, and then runs it. Um, and I thought the kernel did that, but in fact, what the kernel does is executes another program to do that, to do the sort of on the fly linking. So you can actually point that which interpreter it is hard coded into the executable, and you can change it if you want, and you can use this patch elf program to do that. And I bet, let me think of something that's a binary here. Z shell. Which Z shell am I using? So I'm using this one in the run file. And here it is. This is where it really lives. And we're going to look in there. And then, okay, that doesn't look like a symlink, finally. So let's run that. And you can see that has got this interpreter here. So that actually is using a particular version of glib. And of course, it's all pinned down, right? It's all like each program has its own hermetically sealed set of things that it's depending on. And I bet if we did LDD on this, yeah, you can see that this is pointing to, actually it's pointing to a lot of, I mean, ZShell isn't going to have that many dependencies, but you can see that a bunch of those dependencies are actually all in that version of glibc. And that means, or a particular compiler that it was compiled on. Gosh, I feel like I'm going deep into explaining this stuff, but I've really only just learnt most of it. So it's really interesting. It's fresh in my mind that I've managed to understand all these little things. So if we go into my OBS, is it config OBS? Yeah, like we look into the plugins. Here is Linux browser. Here's the binary, and I had to hack this a lot. I ended up like copying over like a symlink directly into this. I hacked the hell out of this, so all of these things point to various places, and that's all super chunky, and I'm not sure I could do it again, and everything that Guix shouldn't be. But I did that for you. I did that for you viewers because I really needed to get everything working before I embarked on Twitch again. And now we're here. It feels like pathetic what I actually want to do, which is if you look at the very top of this window here, I don't have a status command. I don't have a status. And I think, although my memory is so bad, I can't even remember whether I streamed this or not. I think what I was doing was trying to get something interesting up there. So let's see, what's the time? Oh yeah, I can like hack on this for another hour or so. And you know what? I hope this is okay. I'm just gonna like take a minute to just less than a minute actually to just grab myself a delicious, refreshing drink of water, which is probably, oh look, the music stopped. Why did the music stop? And then I will come back in like literally 30 seconds. So other people tell you not to go away. I will tell you you can do whatever you want. Like you're free human beings in a universe with an illusion of free will in it. In the meantime, I hope this graphic will appear. Hello, I'm back, and things seem like they should work, but you never know. So, let's get this party started. Hold on. All of the music here is Creative Commons, so not only can you enjoy it here, but you can share it and play it and use it yourself. And while I'm doing like the credits, God, I'm so bad at this. A special shout out to the Electronic Frontier Foundation, who are, I guess, sort of effectively sponsors for this because I work there, and they pay me in delicious lemon juice and money to buy laptops, which indirectly means thank you if you are a donor to EFF. So let me kick up EFF. Electronic Frontier Foundation since 1989. Another number, another summer. has been fighting for your digital privacy, free speech, and innovation. Um, we just celebrated our Pioneer Awards, which have been going on for a pretty long time. Um, and we gave awards to a bunch of pioneers of the of cyberspace. We gave them to William Gibson, the man who coined the term cyberspace and led the literary revolution of cyberpunk fiction, which I think prefigured a lot of the world you see today, for good or bad. Oakland Privacy have been doing amazing things, stopping things like license plate recognition systems and a bunch of really seedy government surveillance programs that you think you wouldn't be able to stop, right? When your local government says, hey, for the safety of the people, we need to set up cameras and delve into people's lives, you know, how do you fight that democratically? Everyone goes, oh yeah, I want to be safe. I don't have anything to hide. Oakland Privacy showed that it could be done. And Dana Boyd, who is an amazing researcher in a bunch of stuff, has been around doing that bunch of stuff. What a trivialization. Finding out like how we actually can make the internet work for everyone and what the internet turns people into and how we can make it a force for good rather than bad. She did it, this barnstormer of a speech. One of the reasons, I'll be honest, that I'm a little bit, oh god, I'm using Emacs, I'm messing around with free software, I love these things, but I'm feeling kind of weird about it because one of the key figures in free software, really the person that helped started the movement, Richard Stallman, has has said some pretty bad things at a pretty bad time right now. And I actually spoke to him today about it. And I don't know. You have mixed feelings when people, not heroes. I don't believe in heroes, but people you respect miss something, or don't realize that they're hurting people. I'm not going to go into the drama because that's exactly why I'm doing this therapy now. But you know, you can just jump on the Twitter. The creation to and solution to all drama is there. I'm based in San Francisco, and don't worry, I'll get some code up. That's enough sponsorship and blah blah. Though you can ask me any questions about any of that stuff, and I'll be happy to talk about it. I live in San Francisco, and right now, San Francisco, for some reason, Twitter has decided this marketing campaign, which is you go into the subway here, and all the walls and all of the like every basically physical space in front of you is covered in these 6 foot by 3 foot tweets, and I cannot imagine something more likely to make me go, okay, I need to get off Twitter now. I'm beginning to like see it like Tetris blocks everywhere I look, and like I can't escape it. But apparently that was their idea of a good marketing thing. Well, that's kind of how it's been this week. I've been like staring at Twitter, pulling my hair out, and trying to work out how all this stuff is going to affect all these things I very sincerely believe in, because I think the ideas point to a truth, even if the people who first began to move towards that truth were kind of a product of the generation that they grew up in. Code. Let's make it code. All right. Enough. All right. So one of the things I use in Linux, in Emacs, which I'm trying to understand, is that's not what I wanted. Is org. I'm going to close that because it actually has my work stuff on it. I thought I'd fix that. Here we go. So if I run that piece of code, if I run that piece of code, there we go. I should just have the to-do for just us. The first one is this Guile i3 compatible status bar. So this is the status bar, and what I want it to do is to, what do I want it to do? Let's have a look. Let's put some music on again. It keeps stopping. That's a bug in itself. I wonder whether I should. I could get that thing over there working so it would actually tell you what tracks are on. Oh. I'm sorry, I promised myself I would never drink online. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry if that sounded like you were just falling down a drain. I won't do that again, even though it's delicious. Or maybe I'll mute myself when I do that. I'm a big fan of soding. If you've ever seen this guy's live streaming, it's pretty great. And I love it. You should follow and subscribe. The only thing that he's made a value of it, but he drinks tea. And like that noise is just, why? Oh, stop it. But he also washes his socks, but I don't think I've ever seen him do that online. It's just something he talks about a lot. And I also said, you don't want to know about my socks. So. Oh, now we're getting back to Stallman. Elliptically. Okay, so i3 status bar. So there's a particular protocol, I guess, maybe? Here we go. That you can use to, it's JavaScript, not JavaScript, it's JSON, and you can use that to put stuff up on this screen. I probably have it set to completely the wrong thing in my config. So let's have a look at my, I'm going to grep it just in case there's secret stuff in there. I don't think there is, but I'm not going to use the terminal. I'm going to use Space Emacs because I'm trying to train myself into doing that. Sway config. Boop. Okay, this is my Sway configuration file. And somewhere here is like the program that runs when you want to go to it. No, when you want to output something to the status file. We're getting an error reading from status command. This is the program. This is the program, ladies and gentlemen. And friends beyond the binary, that we can I paste? Yes. Wrong type to apply. I really feel like I got further in this last time. We'll have a look. All right, so just to make sure everyone is following along, Guile is the kind of Lisp that I am into right now. This is the file that it's going to interpret, and this is the crazy error. So I'm going to do this in, well, this is the thing that at any proper tutorial I would just really smoothly do, and because I'm going to demonstrate how awesome Emacs is for editing Lisp and Lisp-alikes, but I don't know what I'm doing. So it's going to look a little clunky. So here is the program. I can probably get rid of that to-do list. Oh, except that one of the things I can do is like check in. I don't know whether I've committed this code. Yes, I have. So what I'm doing now is that's actually timing me. There's like a log here, well there should be. Didn't work. Yeah, okay. And it's like saying, oh yeah, you started this at 10:31. So if you remember to turn it off, like I would ever, then you can build up a sort of record of how long things took and learn from that. But we'll see if I actually manage to do that. Where is the code? This is the other thing I can't quite get the hang of in this, is how do you keep the code that you want and like find that buffer that you were in previously. Okay. I'm gonna drink again. I'm sorry. I'm really thirsty. Oh, that was really unsatisfying. Don't ever do that. I didn't realize how much the sort of luxuriating in the swallowing was actually part of the pleasantry of ingestion. That's what I should have called this show. Like the joy of coding. Another really good stream if you enjoy, as I do, live coding, especially people who actually do live coding rather than just talking about it all the time. Mike Conley's Joy of Coding is this great he works at Mozilla, so he's another person who is lucky enough to get paid for working on free software. I'm just going to stick this in. There we go. Really good. Love it. Anyway, I think I should have done The Pleasure of Ingestion, because The Joy of Coding is such a good title. Okay, so this is Lisp. This is like this weird Lisp incantation at the top, which I might go over one day when I understand it. The format of that we're looking to achieve is here, and what it starts with a kiss. It starts with this, and then it that sort of says, hey, well, I'm going to send you JSON, and then you sort of output these little JSON arrays, like one big array, and inside that every few seconds, or whenever you want, actually, you just output the status bar that you want in JSON. Interesting, huh? If I didn't put this in, here we go. I'm really happy I have a little chat client down here. I'm so pleased by that. You can't see it, but it took me ages to do, as everything will. Music has stopped again. If you have any questions, just ask them. Why do people say that? If you don't have any questions, cease to ask them. Alright, so this is the first blob that goes out. And I think that worked. Okay, my first experimenting with the REPL. I'm gonna just make it load up these things. REPL, var region, and go. Yeah. Okay. As you will. I told you it was Guile. Starting it. Okay, great. Oh, right, look, it's there. I would really rather that was over that side of the of Emacs, but I don't know. You have a question? It's going great, Fergie Danny. How is it with you, my fellow Danny? Shall I swallow for you? That came out wrong. It's going great, actually. Like I was saying earlier, I've had like a week and a half, but it's super pleasurable now, especially in your company. Okay, so now I've started this REPL. Let's just check to see if it knows some of this stuff. So it should know the initial JSON. If I say initial JSON. All right. Screw you. REPL. Eval buffering. Go. Nice. Okay, that worked. This is sort of kind of a placeholder set of JSON values. I really feel like I streamed this before. I feel like I'm repeating history, but maybe I was just talking to myself. Okay, so it prints out that, then it prints out the beginning of the square bracket of the JSON array, and then it prints an empty one just because that makes things easier when you're printing stuff out, and then it starts looping through everything. Okay. Yeah, I remember talking about immutable functions. So have a look at my old videos if you want to know what the hell I'm doing better than I do. Because I will be solving the same problems as I'm trying to solve here. So print it out, we do this conversion. One of the things I do remember is that this JSON module went through many rapid incompatible version changes. So that it's all coming back to me now. There was a guy laughing his head off in the chat about this. Let me show you it. Guile JSON. This is like a crucial freaking, like every system needs to have a JSON library. And I'm not even sure if this is the right one, but it looks like the right one. But the version, the README log basically says he changes the whole thing, and then he changes it back. Oh my God, I can't find it. I mean, you would have laughed if you were on the same video stream as me a week ago. Oh, you would have. We wouldn't have stopped not only would we not have stopped laughing, we wouldn't have started. Okay, so all of this looks vaguely okay. What I imagine the world of hurt we're going to hit is in the interpretation of these things. So let's see. Scam, JSON, vector, status. Oh, right, that's an argument. Okay. Let me try and understand this a little bit before I go back to adding to it. So we print all this stuff initially, and then we're going to do a loop. And loop is in scheme style a loop. I've done it by, rather than having it like a while or a repeat, I actually just call the function again. And I see what I'm doing here. We come in with the status, and then we put it together, we send it out as JSON, and then we learned some valuable lessons together. Mainly, we spent a lot of time debugging something before we realized the problem was it was all being buffered, and this force output actually makes it not buffered. Buffered means that the program hoards the information it's supposed to be printing out, because it's like, oh, it'll be much more efficient for me to send this all in one go. And you don't want to do that if you're sending something to a status bar, because it's sitting there going, I thought you were going to tell me something. And so this all makes a rich and complicated kind of sense. So why is it not working? I don't know. If I knew that, I wouldn't have to make myself look like an idiot in front of the world. Okay, so it prints out this first one pretty well, actually. That looks nice. And then it goes, it doesn't like full text foo. Wrong type to apply. Oh, it's trying to call that value. That's not right. Why would it do that? Oh no, hold on. Okay, so these are the statuses. Oh, look what's happening. So it's trying to run this thing loopy, and I'm giving it something here in a bracket, in a parentheses, but the iron rule as Lisp is the first thing. If you give something to run and it's in a parenthesis, the first thing it's going to do is look at the first thing in that parenthesis and go, I'm just going to run that. It's a function. That's where functions go. I'm going to run it. So for instance, loopy here is a function, so it's happy to do that. And format here is a function, and it's the first thing in the parenthesis, so it runs that as a function. And what I've said here is run this. And that should work, right? Because like that's running status objects. This should all work. What's wrong with you? Oh look, it's actually here. I'm sort of saying, there we go. Maybe if I say, take this and this, turn it into something special. But that doesn't seem right. I think that should be, all right. What we're trying to do is what are we trying to do? Status. What? Oh, right. Like, status starts with today's date. And what I'm trying to do here is to change that to foo. Why don't I just actually show you what this thing looks like when it's running correctly. I think that will help you, and it'll make me feel like I've achieved something with my life. Okay, I'm going to edit out this cleverness. I'm just going to say run status again. And that way, it won't be trying to change anything. It'll just be displaying foo, this thing called foo. It will say testing world, and it will be in that color, which is Latin for green, I believe. Okay, how do I get it to do that? I can get Sway to reload the configuration. I believe is, if everything goes wrong here, let me know. There you go. So I should have like a firework effect here. So yeah, all right. We got testing world at the top. I hope you can see that. If you can't, like, this is very disappointing for you. But yeah, you should be able to see it. It's up there. Pay no attention to this. Okay, so now I know that's over there, so I'm gonna go that way. And the music has stopped again. Nothing works. This is good though. It's a playlist. Could I just ask you to like actually keep playing? Am I doing something wrong here? Okay. Next time the music stops working, tell me. Okay, so we got this working. That's super exciting. I remember going to sleep reading about Guile list structures because I wanted to solve this problem. So the problem I have now is that how do I get from this to the next thing, right? And so I was saying, okay, let's put full text testing world into it. And I don't think that actually worked, because if I did that, today's date, say, is that going to work? I'm not sure if that's exactly the right thing it should be, but no, that should be like inside that bracket. So I'm not a huge, the thing that Lisp people use is a thing called cons. Okay, that seems right. So you can see the problem here is that rather than getting rid of this and replacing it, we're just adding another one. And my memory of that was will this work? Let's try it. My memory of that was that the status bar was just picking up the first version of this, the full this testing world, and I've just added another one. I hope that makes sense. Like this gets, hey, this gets turned into JSON, so I could even fix it kind of at the JSON level. Well, or at least I could see what happens. Let's take what this is, which is $6. In the REPL, you can see that that printed result is $6. So if I did that, then you get the same thing. So if I turn that into JSON, okay, So the JSON it generates has both foo as the full text and testing world. So it's like a toss up what the program is actually going to show. And yeah, I think that's actually correctly adding foo to that, but we haven't got rid of the other one, so it just accepts testing world. Sorry for the slurping. Anybody in the chat who thinks it's really disgusting, well, actually, more importantly, anyone who's watching and is just revolted right now, you should speak up, because that might actually stop me from doing it again. If you don't speak up, you could. If you don't speak up, like I'm just going to do it more. Really, I have this super sensitive microphone, but I've also had it filtered, so the background noise isn't. Okay, I feel less self-conscious. I think this means I'll start cracking my knuckles in future episodes. It's just lemon juice, by the way. It's not, I don't know, Free Software Programmers Tears or something. Yeah, we should. Right, okay, I'm gonna do it. Alright. And actually I'm gonna look and I'll show you my inputs. So recording. So that's me, okay. Oh, but it's probably it's OBS, so I will have. Okay, here that's me speaking, and then when I don't speak, it just automatically shuts off. Even though there's a lot of background noise actually in this thing. So hold on. Okay, no giggling. Okay, that's where it crossed over, and it was also interestingly when I was about to drown. So I now know to do that. And my God, does that mean Soding never actually filtered out background noises? Or maybe maybe he just drinks tea that loudly all the time. I should get into a swallowing contest with him. But maybe not on video. Okay, this is good. I love it. I just love this single line that I have changed in 2 hours. But I don't love it. I'm going to look up. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to apologize. I'm unashamedly learning something, and you're learning too. I'm going to look up immutable, whether you want to or not. It's a Friday night. Learning is what you want. Education. Immutable A-lists. It does! So what was that about? So it went to another track. Okay. Alright. We'll never know. Never know why Clementine. So can I also say that I think this is on my to-do list. On my to-do list is triage Clementine's bug list because I don't want you down there, mate. Stop it. Why did you do that? I hope this is reassuring to people that I'm going to put it on 4. Clementine has 2,000 issues. It works great. I mean, you know, apart from the occasional bug, it works great. But oh my god, they need to triage their bug list. I'm showing free software unvarnished here on Code Therapy. It switched over again. Kibitsu. What was it? Like this intermittent bug that we'll never know about. It's not our problem. This is our problem. Okay, I'm going to look up immutable lists. Here we go. I've definitely been here before. I definitely remember looking at this last time. Okay, so I think these things might be the things that I want. So the reason why this should be immutable is because I kind of want it to be. Immutability is, what's Lord 2K? Good Lord 2000. Oh yeah, okay, yeah, that's true. Good Lord, I feel like that's only something I say. Like I've got all these like English affectations that I haven't shaken out, and I'm also, I know 2000. I think that I mean they're still doing stuff on it, right? Yeah, like 4 days ago, and they've got a lot of contributors. I mean, they're doing okay. It's just like clearly someone has gone. I can't deal with it. So I could like just start closing them down. I mean, I'm not sure I have that power. Let's see. What can you do here? I can make them duplicates. I bet there's a bunch of duplicates in there. I don't think I can close it until I'm like a person doing stuff. All right. Well, we'll prioritize that. Oh, look, here's a to-do thing I can close off. If this stopped showing little windows. Okay. Done. Can work me. Alright, so we're going to make this work with the immutable values. The reason why I like immutable values is because I got super into Haskell, and Haskell is like pretty much an immutable land. And one of the reasons I bounced off Lisp, yeah, that's exactly what they are, Kibitsu. One of the reasons I bounced off Lisp the first time was because I thought it was going to be immutable, and I didn't have a name for it at the time, but I was like very disappointed when I realized that Lisp had been written at a time where, while I think they recognized the value of that, they were like super into, like they were just exploring computers for the first time. And so mutability, which is like changing a value of a variable, was like the new hotness. So they just had ways of expressing that. Anyway, I think it was. I think better when things are immutable now, and this is immutable here. So, or could be. So what we do is we feed the status value into this function as an argument, and then we call it out. Don't worry about that vector. That's just us converting what we already have into a format that can be turned into JSON, and then we we call that value again, that function again with the same value. So there's nothing here. There's nothing that's saying, oh, change this value to this value. So at the beginning of this function and at the end, status hasn't changed in any way. And the way we had it before, status didn't change either. So we have this badly named, I'm so sorry, function here, which I'm going to change into new status. So so this in an ideal world would come back with like the new value of that we want to output the next time this loopy function is called. But I'm not actually modifying the value of status. I'm just calling the function with a new value. This is not the most clear way I could show you that I'm doing this. But I guess the important thing here is to notice that like at no point am I setting a variable to a new value. The closest I'm getting to is calling this function with a new value. Setting variables in Lisp looks kind of like where is that REPL that we had? Switch to REPL. I'm not sure. I hope that's not obscured. So I think it's set. So if we define a as 23, oops, don't need the brackets. Okay, and then I guess you can say set a 24. Is that going to work? Yeah. And then when you say, hey, what's A? It's 24. And the exclamation mark is actually Scheme's way of saying you're actually changing this thing. But if we had a function, say we had a function sheep, and that function sheep noise, and that function took a value, took an argument. That argument was t, and then what it did was it said the return value is I don't know whether I'm going to do this correctly, but it's like bar. Let's just make it the return value bar and t. Is that going to work? Let's try sheep noise 10. Oh, I just mistyped it. Sheep noise 10. Okay, so that says it's a bar 10, right? And maybe we can say, actually, just to make it a bit clearer, bar times, right? So I'm changing that. That function has become sort of mutable, but doing that, it's bar times 10, and if I say sheep noise 9, right, I'm not redefining anything. I'm just giving a new value, a new argument to sheep noise. Like no variable has been hurt to make this thing return, and it's not like sheep noise itself has changed. And the great thing about that is that you know, because nothing's permanently changed, this function is kind of self-contained. So every time I say sheep noise 1, it's always going to say that, and it's not going to do anything else. I believe the term for that is pure. It's pure. If I got that wrong, you know, I should have told the people on the Lisp. Oh man, this is what I should do. I'm on a new Lisp Slack, not Slack, Discord. And there are a bunch of Lisp live streamers. There we go. I'm just gonna tell. I hope you don't mind, because now we'll be swamped with smug Lisp weenies, and they'll be like, "Oh, you idiot! Like, yes, use cons." No, I'm sure they're very nice. Here we go. Operating systems, software engineering, game dev. I'll send you the link to the to the Discord. I swear they had a live streaming section. Here we go. Hey, I'm literally live streaming Lisp on Twitch right now. But I'm just a beginner though, so please be kind. Please be kind. Then the URL. Like, maybe I'll make that my home Twitch. I was actually just ashamedly trying to remember which way around the diagonal brackets go on URLs. Isn't that embarrassing? I still can't remember after all these years. Nothing's embarrassing at Code Therapy. We all are learners. There we go. Let's see if we get any Lisp people coming in. Any new Lisp people, because we're all Lisp people now, aren't we? Okay, so what we sort of want here is a function that deals with an immutable value and has some sort of utility functions to do that. And so what I guess what I'm sort of hoping for is to find a function that will remove this entry, the old entry from the hash, and replace it with this one. Before I do that, so the immutable version of that, it looks like actually would be, so that's what we're doing. What we should be doing is sort of doing a delete and then a cons. But maybe we can just do that. Sorry, I squeaked. Maybe we can just do that anyway with those. Like if we just do a delete, an A-list delete, and then a cons. Okay. And look, there's two different versions of it. There's one that modifies it, and one that doesn't. All right, let's try it. Let's try it, kids. What we're gonna do is we're gonna do an A-list delete of full text. Is that right? Yeah, I think it is. Okay. Now, the truly professional Lisp, I'm going to tell all those people to come from the Lisp Discord, and then I'm going to stop for the night, but punked. So what a good Lisper would do would actually just be to redefine this function and keep everything else the same. Actually, probably both these functions, because I've changed the value of new status. So maybe I can go book, remote, REPL, and then guys eval region, and go. Search failed. Yeah. is. It's just this. No, damn it. Oh, shit. Did I just delete it? Okay, good. Okay. I know, it's like learning to shave with a butter knife. No, with something super sharp that I don't actually know how to operate. Weapon for a more civilized age. Eval region and go! Alright, I don't know where that worked. Maybe I'll do it in 2 goes. M S Eval region and go! Wait, I printed it up there. Is that what? No, that's not what I wanted. Oh, Geyser debug. Unbound variable A-list delete. Okay, okay. I see your problem here. We need to... Oh, look, I actually was probably messing around with this. Use modules. Where is this? Oh, these are new. Moving A-list entries. Are these just different names for the same thing? Oh, alright. These are kind of... I'm a bit confused now. Have I got A-lists? Are A-lists the same? Yeah, A-lists are called that. Woo! Well, I guess it's still streaming. Interesting bleepy music. Let me find out who it is, because the thing over there is not working. Which might be the other thing that I'll fix tonight. This is... I don't know. Searching? Is that what it's called? Yeah, by Eric Skiff. All Creative Commons music. There must be short versions of this. I don't want this debug. Okay, so I couldn't find that function. Someone who was... Okay. I guess that's not what it's called. That looks promising, doesn't it? Okay. Alright, let's save it and run it. Screw you. Screw you, computer program. Oh, because I didn't change that. I guess this is because it doesn't make sense to have a file named 1, or slightly less sense. End of file. Right. Put an errant bracket somewhere. I think I may have deleted that at some point. Should have warned me. Okay, so hopefully what this will do is it will say hello testing world, and then it will switch to foo. We should make it change color. No. It's one thing at a time. Huh. Yes! Roar! You know what? This should be under version control. Okay. Is this... Okay. Where is this stuff? Am I putting it on the GitHub? I'm afraid I can't remember the Git command. Oh, but Emacs has some Git stuff. Let's have a look. My Git. This is supposed to be amazing. One. Okay. Ah. Where'd it go? Okay, so this is telling me recent commits. Yeah, looks like I've been doing some stuff. I guess it's going somewhere on GitHub. I will look for it a bit later, but I do not want to. Oh look, there's some stage changes. What was I doing? Oh look, this is just some. Okay, that was when I was trying to get the thing that will show correctly the right track. We can fix that a little bit, but that's written in Scheme 2. It all comes flooding back. However, I probably wanna. Oh God, what's this? How tragic to. I must have gone through some phase where. Oh look, I'm using A-list here. Where I was doing some coding, and then I just got distracted just before I committed. So I think I can stash all this stuff. So make it stash maybe. Yeah, let's see. Okay, actually, I think I probably before I do that. I need to unstage this. Either unstage it or commit it. And I'm afraid of commitments. Oh. Abort. Okay. Why isn't it just doing that thing that I wanted it to? Okay. Maybe I'll stage this, right? Like, oh look, and it's a new file, so I can just go initial commit of update track. Okay, commit. So my stage changes. Update track, initial commit, I guess. Most bland commit message ever. Okay, this is the new hotness. Okay, I'm going to commit this for, and it's going to be my initial commit, right? So I get back to that previous buffer. No, no, no. It's like having mental sausages for fingers. Add must be A, right? No. Okay, quit. Add. No. Mysteries. Maybe I just hit return? No. I hope nobody's like desperately heckling what the right Emacs command is in chat. Maybe they're all on the Lisp Discord like bitching about me. Okay, there must be a help. Okay. Apply, blah, blah, blah. Tag. Maybe I just stage it. Maybe that's what it is. I love this. This is do what I mean commands. Like, I don't even know what I mean. Alright, let's act cool. We're going to hit Git, and then we're going to go. I just want to stage that. Okay. Alright. What's this? Oh, that's different. Git. I just want that status for a bit. Stage changes. No, I didn't want. Oh. Unstage it. Okay. It's this one I want to stage. Stage. Wait, I just hit S. That was. Oh, yeah, okay. I'm not giving the best impression right now, but it's okay. Alright, I commit that, and I'm going to say sway bar dob Kyle initial commit. It's my git commits. They can be as trivial as I want. I'm sorry if I'm apologizing so much this week. The English in me. There we go. Alright. Oh, I should have pushed it. I might just do that with P. Capital P. Because it's significant. Push. Push to origin. Gonna put in my secret code. Did it work? I guess it did. Let's have a look on GitHub. If that's where it was going, I assume so. Of course, in my pursuit of purity, I should move that to this to succumpuum. Yeah, okay. So, if you'd like to look at my very bad code, not apologizing for it, secretly actually kind of proud, it goes here. Clementine seems to have sorted its act. I wonder if there's a bug for it. I could add another issue. Look. How would you describe it? Playlist stops. Oh, these look bad. I don't think all of them. I think maybe some of them are fixed, but it doesn't freeze. It just stops. Maybe unwanted pausing. Oh, it looks like some of these were like mass imported. That must have been depressing. This actually sounds like it. Since these are 5 years old. Man. That's not very useful, gotta say. I don't even want to go. Oh, I have this problem too. They just must have imported all these bugs from somewhere else. What can you do with a bug like this? Maybe there was. I did see a. There was definitely a stop after this track, but I didn't think that that's what I was doing. Maybe I'll try clicking on something, see what happens. Oh, that's nice. One of the scripts I think I had on my GitHub, which has no bugs. I think one of the code therapy scripts, if I saw it flying past, was a thing to. There we are, look. So I think I downloaded everything that required a particular Creative Commons license, though I don't remember anything about this now. Anyway. And it also needs this program pup, which that explains something actually, because there was a thing on my list which is add pup to Guix, and I was looking at that going, I have no idea what I meant by that, but that's that program. I don't feel. Did I mention I'm 50? I don't have a great sensation like my memory is going. But it is. And I think that the reason why I don't is, I mean, there's this stupid joke here, right? But I think the reason is actually my memory was always never that good. One of the reasons I got into computers was because I have a very poor memory for the sort of things that computers are very good at. Yeah, right. That was the joke I was going for you. Very good. I don't have that sort of memory, and so computers felt like a solution to that problem. And I also think the more you use computers, the more that sort of memory for very specific things rather than kind of abstract things. Like I could still remember quite abstract ideas pretty well, but not names and places. If you do if you've ever wanted to learn something, I can recommend Anki. Anki is how I try and keep stuff like that in my head these days for stuff that I really should remember. And it's like a flashcard system, and it's open software, open source software. Bleepy. Yeah, have an explore of this. There's an Emacs. You think that, Varen, but I'm actually translating all of this from Forgetfultarian. I have an Emacs Anki deck that I'm trying to learn the keys to Emacs. Clearly, it's working so well, but it's actually helping me sort of understand the structure of all of these things. Okay, let's give this a go. Oh, it worked. That's right. So what do we need to do now? I guess we need it to show the track. I had some fun code to do this. You may have seen it flash by earlier. It's the thing that updates the track. Or should do, but that's broken because let's run it. Oh, something happened there. I just changed track. Yeah, look, it's going. What's this program? QDBus. Command not found. I don't even remember what QDBus was. I guess it was a program that output output dbus queries on the command line. So, and that was to replace the problem that I had, which was that I didn't have a direct interface to dbus. I actually feel a bit more confident, like I could find something that did that working in Guile. Things are already sort of getting a bit better on that front. Okay, so let's have a look. Dbus Guile. Yeah, this is all coming hideously back. Okay, so there was a function. There was this program Guile that I think they remember looking at. And then I think that was like too old. There's been a lot of work on a thing called Guile GI. Like I've been watching commits go on for that. Let's see. Right. So, yikes. It's good that they're showing it how to use it in Guix. This will require some learning, I feel. You know what's my wife and son are doing while I'm doing this? They're at a punk show. Like, how much more of a contrast between cool and not cool is that, well, there'll be like a massive sort of pressure pop. We need some sort of coolness airlock when they come in, because the variance in the room between the local maxima and the local minima of coolness in this room will be, there'll be tornadoes, there'll be coolnadoes. It's exactly how you get hurricanes. By turns, fashionable and unfashionable hurricanes. Okay. How does it work? No idea. So we say type lib. No? How do we... Okay, getting started. Sample applications. Empty window. God, that's scary. I mean, cool, but scary. Are you excited? Behold. I should learn this. I'd be able to help them. I could help them with documentation. Let's take a short side cut and see if we can get this to work, or at least build. The whole thing looked very much like it was already in. Good music for it. Slightly cautious. Okay, I'm going to install it. GI. You'll be able to see something being installed now. Might do that as well after this, because I like a good distracting huge update in my life. So substitutes are the binaries. So if it finds like a pre-existing build, that's called a substitute. Now, substitute actually compiling the software with the pre-recorded binaries. I think these are all things it's downloading. Like they're binaries it's downloading. It hasn't needed to do this, but I think a lot of these are actually programs it needs to compile GalGI. Yeah, look, here it is. It's actually doing configuring and building from source code. This is, you can now sit and enjoy looking at a progress bar as much as me. Well, we can take this opportunity, I guess, to... Oh, errors! Interesting. I didn't think you would have, like... Oh, look, different compilations. Okay. Maybe we can... I didn't think that happened with I don't mind losing Zithura, but I am sort of surprised. I mean, you can see what's happened, right? Like, there are two different GTKs, but from the same thing. But I thought that they would be sufficiently independent from each other. Oh, look, it's going to upgrade all these things. Is Zithura one of them? Oh, Zithura is, so maybe that will fix the problem. It's doing all this stuff. It's exciting. It actually kind of looks like maybe I interrupted it doing something like this before. So maybe rather than doing something that was really surprising, it's actually it's actually coping very well with a particular problem. Don't know. See what happens now. Go. Okay. Usually I just start another ZC shell, but I won't. Okay, so now did it actually install it? Oh. Downloaded all these, right? Yeah. Graphs are interesting, and I don't quite understand them. They're basically ways of, if there are security updates, rather than forcing a rebuild of everything, it can kind of say, look, you may be looking for some dependency here in this store, but actually you might want to try this security update version of this. So it's kind of bending the rules a little bit, but it saves so much time, because like if there's like a small library that everything depends on that needs a security update, then you would end up having to build, somebody would end up having to build all of those programs. So while that's running, just want to make sure it actually works. This is the thing with progress bars, right? Like, okay, in theory, I'm not, I should be able to go off and do something else. But like, I wouldn't be into these kind of computers if I couldn't happily sit and watch a bunch of status lines at work. So seemed good. Okay, so let's just do a test run of this. Guix. Oh no, it's not really Guix, is it? It's Guy or GI. That's what we probably should call it. It's only a temporary directory, Danny. You can call it whatever you want. So let's see if this actually works. I'm not doing this in Emacs. That's very bad. Okay, I copied this and then I'm going to paste it into a thing called test SEM. And then we're going to go. Is that going to work? No! No, honestly. No module. I sort of wonder if running another shell might fix this. No, it doesn't. Well, This is probably not what you're supposed to do. But hello, bloodluster. Kind of like, this is, I'm sure not what you're supposed to do, but I'm going to do it anyway. Actually, look in this file and try and understand what's going on. Sorry, my typing is going to get a little less. Oh, it's funny. Oh. I wonder if that's like the binary I'm supposed to use. That's kind of weird, like a new binary. Super interesting, actually. And there could be all kinds of. Oh, look at this. Well, the normal guy can't find it. Is this Guile GI gonna find it? That makes me feel like this is not what I need, but maybe. Ooh. How strange that it's its own interpreter. Well, I guess I can run with that with this program because it's a standalone program. It seems a little weird for any other program though. If all else fails, read the manual. Aww. So is this like a whole new environment? Crazy ass. I mean, it's sort of what Guile is supposed to be, is it's supposed to be an embedded Lisp, so I can kind of understand that, I guess, but it's funny. In theory, I could just ask this person, right? I could just, you know, write him an email, and I might actually do that, but there's always a little bit that stops me from doing that, and I think it's a mixture of genuine wish to. Yeah, it says it's a library. I don't. Okay, this is gonna be interesting. Maybe he's just built it this way while he's experimenting, or she is experimenting with it. Oh, that died. Huh. Probably because I don't have those libraries actually in kind of context. Yeah. So is the idea then that you these ones worked, didn't they? Okay, I guess they were less specific about what they were trying to load. Oh. Maybe it's just that I don't have WebKit to installed. This is a little gotcha with Guix. If you do Guix search it on the terminal, it sort of just tells you, oh, that's not all. And that's sort of annoying because I just want it to output it, and I'll scroll back. Probably with this WebKit GTK. It's quite a lot, few modules in Guix. two different versions of it. Oh, and there's two outputs. There's out and documentation too. That one is. Just want to check that that's the same. Yeah. Well, what did this one? I might not go any further down this rat hole. Oh, look, it's a little editor. That's amazing. Alright, I think it's going to be hard enough me trying to get to terms with how this works. I don't need to go into that browser example. Okay, so you need the libraries, you use the modules you want. What's that type lib thing? Or is that something that you don't have to do? A lot of this stuff, this is really neat. I like this. That's like the pretty simple way to create a whole GTK application. What I don't know is how to get from here to accessing dbus. Oh boy. Maybe I'll look at the more complicated example. So this is very explicitly going, pull in these libraries and convert them magically at runtime to code I can use. One of the things I don't know, I assume not, is I don't need to kick up a GTK application to use the bindings, GTK bindings for dbus. Well, that's why don't we kick this up in a REPL? Oh, because I can't really, because it's Gile CI. Ugh. This is an interesting subtask, actually. Let's check me out. I've been working on an hour. And let's add another to do, which I'm afraid I can only know how to do by manually doing it. This is sort of a sub to do of that other one. So let's say you build write Guile program to pull out track info and output it in a friendly way. Don't know what a friendly way would be yet. I do wonder whether there isn't just a script to do that. No, I'm gonna do it in Guile if it kills me. Okay, let's check into doing this. Not hugely accurately, but I'll start it. Okay. I wish I knew how to get my version of Guile to do this shit. Like, what is the binary for? It's just what I'm looking at. very early days. I really don't even know where to begin. This is sort of a shell, but it also takes Lisp as well. I don't know with that to that degree, but yeah, okay. I wonder if this is going to confuse it. Okay. I'm going to use modules GI. Nothing terrible happened. dbus GTK. This is going to be a random punt into the world of search. Yeah. My work. How old is this? Havoc. It's a red hat. No. Dbus introspection. Thank you for the follow. That has never happened to me. So thank you for the follow. I mean, I'm used to followers, but I've never actually set that thing up to play that noise so loud into my ear. So that wasn't like, a PewDiePie type jump scare. That was just really loud. Let me see. Thank you for the follow. Whoever it was, I don't actually know. I'm getting there. I just don't know who it was. That's how much I respect you. Oh, there we go. GKH. Thank you so much for the follow. Now I've lost all my windows. Okay, introspection, use of dbus. Dbus services published. Oh no, this is introspection within dbus. That is not going to help me. It's Wikipedia? God, no. Huh. Possible? Importing. It's probably what I'm going to end up being able to access. Looking good. Exciting. Memo. Jesus, that was a while ago. Am I gonna try it? Am I gonna just try putting in dbus there? I think I actually am, so we should try these two first. Oh, that had actually copied over. I see the problem. If I copy that into the X window, is that gonna... No. That's an interesting problem, actually. Something I should try and fix. That's Vim not using the right program, I think. Like, that would work if I did. No, it didn't. Huh. Let's write that. I'm sorry. No, I'm not going to try and fix cut and paste instead of doing this. I'm not sorry. How do I turn off numbers? No, I'm not going to try and turn off numbers. I'm just going to concentrate. Well, I can do this like one line at a time. I just feel like, I know that I'm in a particularly broken state right now, but I just feel that copy and paste fundamentally doesn't work, isn't up to muster in a modern world. I keep thinking about this idea that a copy and paste should be able to do much more than it does. And I think the reason why people I do have to give a version. I guess that makes sense. Ooh, that's loading in a lot. Or maybe it just thinks I need to do something. What do you think? What do you want, man? Oh, look, I didn't put an apostrophe. Well, I can check on that. Type lib. GTK 3.0. Interesting. Well, what about this? Fine. Okay. Well, what did that get me? No, can't autocomplete on this. Alright, time to look at the manual again. .02 alpha code. Why? Why did I even think that this was a good idea? Because it's the future. The future is where we will all live. Shrug equals. That's great. Whew. It's not documentation. I guess it's for generating documentation. This looks kind of more useful, maybe. Ooh, no. God, no autocomplete. I'm living in the dark ages. Hmm. I don't know what I'm doing. More stuff. I wonder if I just did this in a normal browser, a normal terminal, I would get. Yeah, sure, I got it. Okay, use modules, GI, right? Use modules. I'm just going to try this again. Just nope. Was it load? Yes, it was. I don't remember if I tried this. Picking it up. No. Sometimes, you know. Where is it getting this document? What are these type libs? Does anyone know? I mean, I love indexes. This is the other thing that I'm actually enjoying. Having with GNU style documentation. See, typelib, we don't even do that. We do typelib load, right? Maybe I should just check the source. Oh, look at this. Did I even read this before? Okay, so these things called typelibs, and think I may be too tired to understand this. Gosh. Gosh. Yes. This is very hard, but I'm looking forward to learning about it. And I'm sorry if we didn't get much further and you're dying to understand everything there is to know about Guile GI, but you can always get ahead of me. I'll stick in a link to the incomprehensible documentation, which is only just being worked on. And you can explore a little bit there. Okay, I am going to get some sleep because it is super late. Thank you for watching me flail around. My God. And only one Stallman anecdote. It's been a blessing. What time is it? It is 10 past 12. That's really good timing. I'm going to go away. The music stopped. When did the music stop? Oh, it's sort of... Ugh. Well, we'll find out sometime. I'll learn to debug Clementine as well. So, thanks everybody. And don't forget to follow and subscribe. Bye. Really nice seeing you, Kibitsu, as ever. And we should just go to coffee sometime. Kibitsu, I have a history with. Anybody else is in San Francisco, hit me up for coffee. I'm Danny@spesh.com. And I'd love to chat. And we can do this thing where I just talk all the time and you sit there just sort of like half paying attention to me, and it'll be just like we're streaming together.